So let's get you out of your slave mindset and out of that sort of workers mindset where you trade your time for money, because that's just not going to fucking work. If you want to be successful at a high level, you need to kind of get out of the slave mentality, because it's, when have you ever seen, a slave be emperor or some shit? So when I say the slave mentality, I'm kind of talking about being stuck in this existence that you create for yourself because that's what you think success is. This may get a bit deep. It may border on the whole conspiracy side of things. It's not, it's quite literally how the fucking world works. However, if you want to be successful at a very high level, then you can't continue to have this slave-based mindset. Now, before I continue, let me say that there's going to be videos that are very like, this is what you do, this is how you do it, go do the worksheet. Then there's going to be videos like this where I'm more so talking about adopting a certain way of thinking, adopting a certain mindset that has, helped me be successful, helped me break out of the bullshit molds that exist. And the first one really should be like, getting out of that slave mentality, worker mentality, kind of rat race bullshit that everyone typically lives in. So let me give you a breakdown of what the fuck I'm talking about. Typically, the traditional path is you go to school, you go to uni, you get the degree, you go to work, you get the job, you get a promotion. You get a girl, you get a kid, you get a mortgage, and so you get a house, and now you're in debt. Maybe, by 30 years, you've paid off the house and now you own the house, and then you sell the house and you downsize, and, with the extra $1 million or $1.5 million or whatever, from the downsize, you've now got that plus your superannuation, and you get to enjoy your 70s and 80s backpacking around Europe that you should have done when you were 20, but, you had to stick to the plan. Now that worked 20, 30, 40 years ago. That shit doesn't work now. So when I grew up, like my dad ran his own business, so like I guess he was kind of out of the working mentality. But I went to a school where like everyone's parents were just workers. They were just fucking workers. So there was the real like, oh, you should go to university, you should go to college, you should get a degree, you should, get that better job, make more money than, Timo's mum makes $32 in a nursery or some shit, $32 an hour. And people are paid this hourly fucking wage. Maybe you're a step up and you get a salary. Now your fucking health benefits are included, whatever. Or you completely step out of that and you learn, I guess, the truth about money, and, instead of giving hours for a wage, you can actually give a service for a lump sum. You can trade information for money. You can do a lot. Like this, yes, I'm investing hours here, filming, editing, building out this course. But a lot of motherfuckers will subscribe to it, just like a lot of motherfuckers do my coaching, just like a lot of motherfuckers will do my business coaching when that launches. Like, you got to learn how to leverage your time, right? In the same 10 hours that I could have worked, say I was making fucking $80 an hour, I could have made $800. Wow. In the same, 10 hours, I can film all this content, which I can run ads and make tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you got to learn how to leverage your time, leverage your money. But this all comes back to the mindset. This kind of borders on the whole beliefs and limiting beliefs, which I've decided I'm going to do a video for, because I tried to do this before, and I kept fucking jumping in between the two, and it was just very confusing if you don't know what a limiting belief is. Essentially, when you're a kid, right, the beliefs that get passed on to you from your parents and how they view the world, right, that's been passed on through their parents. So you're adapting and you're building this mindset and the way you think, the way you see the world. Like if your parents genuinely fucking believed that rain was purple, then you would genuinely believe that rain was purple too. So what worked for your grandpa and his dad and his dad and his dad, and what worked for your parents with getting a job and, you know, saving and, I'm going to save my money because saving, you know, your interest rate is bigger than what's the fucking inflation, right? So you're saving at a higher rate than inflation. Beautiful. You can you can save your way to buying a house. Beautiful. If you're 22, right, in 2024, guess what? Inflation's bigger than your savings amount. So that's not gonna fucking work. You can't save your way to freedom anymore. You're gonna have to learn a new skill, adapt to a new mindset, adopt a new mindset, and start fucking grinding your teeth off, because that's the only way you're ever gonna get anywhere. You're not gonna be able to do the same fucking roadmap that people have done for the last 50, 100 years, because that shit's outdated and it doesn't work anymore. So that mindset that once worked has now slowly funneled people into this slave mentality, or this hourly wage mentality, where people are scared to take action in case they lose their little bit of comfiness that they have with their job, right? Weirdest thing. But let's just continue on the whole slave mindset thing. So let's say you wake up, you go to work, you don't like your job, but because you've got a mortgage, because you overcommitted and bought a house that you cannot afford, now you have a mortgage. So now you can't get out of that job. What if you get made redundant? Just what if, by the way, what if? You go to work to pay for the house, you're paying taxes on what you make as well. The ultra rich people, they're not getting taxed. The poor people don't get taxed. The ultra rich people don't get taxed because they're too smart to figure out shit. They're getting taxed the same amount as you, yet you make 60 grand a year and they're making 600,000 plus a year. Yet you're paying the same tax because they're smart. You can't play the game with this slave mindset and expect to win. It's just not gonna fucking work. At the end of the day, this system that has been created, right? People going to school, people go and getting jobs, they go to uni, they get in debt, now they got a house, now they get more debt. It just keeps them stuck in this little fucking position where they can't move. Maybe they have the weekends off. Maybe they save enough to go on a holiday every 5-10 years with their kids. Fuck that. That sounds fucking awful. But that system has been created to make more middle class people. Because more people with that slave mindset, with that workers mindset, it keeps the rich people rich because they're coming up with shit that middle class need. Who needs alcohol and drugs and shit food to suppress how they really feel? The middle class. The poor are too poor to fucking afford it anyway. But that middle class, they're just gonna numb themselves with dumb shit. They'll watch the porn. They'll order the Uber Eats. They'll subscribe to Netflix and Stan and all the other subscriptions. They're a part of it because they can slightly afford it, but they're not really making enough money to actually escape it. So they're quite literally just on the hamster wheel of life. They go to work, they pay the bills, they're too scared to actually do anything in case it all hits the fan and they go broke. But they're too scared to go broke because that seems like a downgrade. So they're really just on this hamster wheel of going to work, paying taxes, paying for the mortgage. They're coming home, they're tired because they've had to work all day. And if they haven't got the right mindset, this is what we're doing now. If they haven't got the mindset, then they're eating shit food to feel better at work. Maybe they're time poor because they don't have the right mindset. They're not looking at the situation properly. So they're eating shit food. They come home, they jack off, they watch Netflix, they get Uber Eats. They're just getting fatter, broker, stupider, and they're never getting off that little fucking hamster wheel. And that's what the system makes. The system makes workers. If you don't want to be a part of the system, then you need to outsmart it. And to outsmart it, it's working on your fucking mindset first. It's being very aware that all this shit is going on and maybe doing it for a certain amount of time to get ahead, but don't get fucking stuck there because that's what a lot of people do as well. We'll come back to that later. So yes, you may need to get a job or continue working your job or get 2 jobs or fucking 3 jobs and grind your teeth off to get ahead, so that you've got enough backing behind you to start that business or launch that side hustle, do whatever the fuck you need to do to get ahead, so that you can then go from this little hourly wage, this little little $20 a wage. Thank you, sir. I'll come back and I'll not speak back to you because that's the wrong thing to do. How many of you go to work every day and get borderline abused by someone because you're too scared to fight back, or you're too scared to talk back in case you lose your job, and then you lose your house, and then you lose your wife? It's this little fucking thing. And everyone's too scared to actually take action and do the thing because, oh, well, what if that all goes wrong? What if I overcapitalize and then it all goes bust and then I lose the house and I lose the wife? Good, you're back to square fucking one, and you may actually have some fire in your belly for the first time in your life. I get it, I've been there, but you're not gonna be able to escape the system and get out of that slave mentality, that worker's mentality, if you're just stuck in the system doing the thing. You need to outsmart it and use it to your advantage and work on your mindset and work on your body and go to the gym and learn how to stop doing the instant gratification bullshit, which we'll talk about in another mindset shift video, and actually learn how to do the things that you need to do regardless of how you feel, regardless of how tired you are, regardless of how sad you are. You just fucking do it, because that's the thing that's gonna get you off that little hamster wheel. I said I'd come back to it. So getting stuck there. A lot of people do get stuck there. They're like, oh, I'll just do this job for a little bit. And then life hits them in the dick, just like life always does. It's funny, I always get people like, oh yeah, fuck it. Yeah, man, life's just been, throwing some curveballs at me lately. And I'm like, yeah, bro, you're in the game. Like, what did you expect? Just this cruisy little fucking walk down Main Street without any tsunamis or any curveballs or any, like, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Life is always going to serve you up some shit. Even that is a mindset. Like, I fucking look for it. When I get hit in the dick by life, I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's dance, motherfucker. Instead of being like, oh, well, yeah, I can't do that anymore because X, Y, and Z. Like, there is always going to be shit outside of your circumstances. I'll make sure I talk about this in depth on another video. But getting out of that slave mentality, it all starts with just waking up to this whole fact that that's how majority of the world is, and majority of the world never gets above that because they're too busy distracting themselves with the instant gratification shit, which is designed to keep you lazy and somewhat okay because, well, I'm not mega rich and I haven't achieved all my goals, but, I've got a Pornhub subscription and beers are pretty good. Fuck that. Go and get what you want. Stop being a little bitch and actually do the work. But you got to wake up to that slave sort of worker mentality and start thinking differently, right? That's not you anymore. So adopt this mentality.